So, Eric, a moment ago, I had mentioned Azure Blockchain Workbench, which, as you know, obviously is a suite of tools that Microsoft offers to build apps. Can you just talk about that a little bit and see if you could clear up some of the myths around the blockchain and educate us, if you will?
Oh yeah. Okay, so this one's kind of cool. Quick little history lesson. So blockchain. We have blockchain sort of like 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Blockchain 1.0 is your cryptocurrency. Blockchain 2.0, the gentleman came out who worked over in the Bitcoin group, and he's like, hey, we could do something more with this. And he created something called smart contracts, which was blockchain 2.0. And the main thing you might have heard of is something called Ethereum. That's where we got that from. Now, blockchain 3.0 to me is a little more hazy because there's a lot of things that happen around it. But it's built around the idea of decentralized apps or something larger than just a contract. And Microsoft is looking to play more in that space, which is what's now fascinating me. One of their big implementations that they've just offered is something called Azure Workbench. Azure Blockchain Workbench is a real word. In about 10 minutes, you fill out a simple form. It's like 7 screens right now. It's not that hard. You fill that out in Azure. You click go. 20, 30 minutes later, you're going to have an entire blockchain implementation based typically on Ethereum, although I think you can do Hyperledger as well, on Ethereum. But not only do you have a blockchain, you have a full web interface on top of it. You have this whole interaction, so it's so much easier to now build your first smart contract. In about 20, 30 minutes, you can have a simple web app running where you can take your Solidity code, dump it straight into Azure Workbench as a new app, and your smart contract will be running right away. That's fascinating.
It is. And so, so maybe I can add a little bit just about the smart contracts and the Solidity code. One of the ways I like to explain the smart contracts is just acknowledge that it's code, right? When we say smart contracts, if you could touch it, you're looking at code.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the code has the Java syntax. It's not JavaScript, but it has JavaScript syntax. It was created by a company called Solidity, and so you can use the visual code editor from Microsoft to edit these, so it's not entirely complex from a programming standpoint. And Microsoft really, Eric, I don't know what you think about this, but I think they do a really great job at providing us the base classes that are required to use the API. And
absolutely.
And this, I'm sure we were talking about this earlier. The other really interesting thing about the blockchain is they synchronize the blockchain with the SQL Server database for you automatically. Yeah. So what's great is you have all of the data on the chain, all of the data in a database. So from Office 365 and Dynamics and the stack, you do all your collaboration work as a team, right? Collect your data, collaborate on it, but then you have the option of taking that data, transaction, whatever it might be, and persisting it to the immutable blockchain. So what a beautiful world. You know, you got your data in SharePoint, you got your data in Dynamics, you got your data on a blockchain, you've got your data in a database. I mean, I love this approach.
The other big selling point that I've seen Microsoft have on it is around the security model. So we haven't really gone into this, but with blockchain, you're using these nasty hashes, these strings to identify who's what, because you're using these public private key encryption, crazy ass stuff. Workbench takes care of that for you and allows you to use Azure Active Directory, and that's just huge. So now you basically have single sign-on securely into the Ethereum blockchain. That's just cool for the business use case.
Amazing. And I would even take it a step further, and I would say, do you know of anybody else that's tackling enterprise security with blockchain? No. I don't know of another vendor that's doing that. So I mean, literally, you made great description, Eric. I mean, we're talking about complete integration with your Azure AD accounts. Yeah. And finally getting rid of those nasty account names.
I mean, so now working with SharePoint, working with Dynamics, working with anything that you already have an Azure Active Directory ID, you now can start talking to smart contracts. I just think is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really excited. We've actually been building out some community code. I've been talking to Eric about this and banging the tires on the smart contracts, and we've got it up and running. We'll share it on GitHub, and Eric's very active in the community, and we both love to talk about this stuff. So I'm sure you'll be hearing more from us. But I really appreciate you taking the time, Eric. It's been really great seeing you here.
Thank you.
And I love talking about this stuff. It's really good. Thanks, Eric.